Welcome back to another episode of Life in the Stands podcast. We have Jake and Zach on the podcast today. We're excited to jump into some Olympics content. Really, only men's basketball has been going on so far, but we are excited to cover all of the other things going on with the Summer Olympics too, women's basketball, and then every other event that you would care to watch there. So let us know in the comments if there is something specific you'd like us to cover there. I want to thank everyone for watching and listening. Remember to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're on. And with that, let's jump into some of the Olympics that have kind of gotten started here. The men's USA basketball team that's going to be playing in Paris this year played the Canada men's basketball team. Both of these national teams really are full of a lot of NBA stars, so this was a pretty competitive game. USA ended up winning 86 to 72. So Bender, let's hear your thoughts on how that game went and kind of what you took away from it.
Yeah, going into this, I thought Canada was actually our best competition throughout the Olympics and what we're going to see throughout the Olympics. There is one other team that I am a little bit scared of, and that is France, just because of the height and the experience they have over there between Wemby, Gobert, Batum, whoever else you want to mention. So I think that is someone or another team to look for going through the Olympics for men's basketball. But however, like I just said, Canada, I think, was the best built roster to try and beat us and we beat them. And it wasn't even our best day. Joel Embiid fouls out in the third quarter. Not that that makes a huge difference. I feel like Bam and Anthony Davis are actually better fits on that Olympic team anyway. So I'm okay with him fouling out, whatever. Wasn't our best showing, wasn't Canada's best showing either, but not our best showing. So I think that's something to look forward to. Like we're just not going to lose if we beat Canada on our worst night.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking up the French roster too, just to make sure we didn't miss any like big names there. But I mean, yeah, Rudy Gobert, Nick Batum. I mean, Ntilikina's on that team, if you even remember Frank Ntilikina. But the combination of Gobert and Wembanyama obviously is going to be something to watch out for. But like you're kind of talking about, I think we just need to focus more of the conversation on how good this men's basketball team is, like how good this USA team is, because you have a collection. I'd like to see someone put together the statistics of how many total MVPs, how many total championships, like how much sort of jewelry is out all around in this team. It doesn't really feel like there's going to be a like you said, if Canada couldn't do it, it doesn't feel like there's going to be a super competitive team in Paris for them, just because they have the experience, they have the youth. I think it's also interesting to kind of see how the USA team is going to find their alphas and their scores. I know a lot has been talked about. Do you kind of ride the wave of like, do you put Steph, LeBron, KD, and like all the old heads out there to start, or do you roll with like Anthony Edwards and Devin Booker and
Well,
how do you want
here's
to
the
play it?
thing. Devin Booker actually started, and as soon as Anthony Edwards came into the game, he started putting up points. So
Yep.
I think you need to kind of feel out who's doing what. I don't think you can go wrong with whoever you start at this point.
Who would you
Again,
start? Who would be your
who would
starting
I
five?
start? Um, I think I would start Steph, Anthony Edwards, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and probably Anthony Davis. I think that makes the most sense. Athleticism, a lot of switchability, and like I don't know, just having the versatility with that lineup. And then you still have Bam coming off the bench. You still have Drew Holiday, Halliburton, Halliburton. I actually saw something that was like people were making fun of Halliburton being on the Olympic team, but this is what he does, and it was a screenshot of like one of Rondo's games on the Pelicans getting like 4 points and 25 assists or something. And it's like this is what Halliburton does for our team. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I don't think this is the best roster we've ever put together though, for how crazy that sounds. I know a lot of the younger generation is going to be like, "Oh my God, like we're not going to lose." I think other countries have gotten better. You're seeing that like kind of transform the NBA as well, with a lot of foreign players and from other countries coming in and being superstars. So there is a lot more competition, but I don't think it's our best team. And we'll get into that in a little bit. There was a replacement that I did not like. But the favorite team that I had growing up was actually the team with Melo, Kobe, young KD, and young LeBron. So like people don't know what that team actually brought to the table either. Um, so I feel like we need to educate them on how this team's not the best team we've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know because I think even though I witnessed that team as well, and that was 2008 was when we put that team together. But even with that, I think this team might be better. I really think this team might be better. Um, it's more experienced, I think for sure at this point now, because you have guys that have been around so often. Although it is crazy that it's Steph's first time in Olympic basketball.
Yeah, I mean, here's where I'm at. You might say like the top five guys might be better than our other top five guys from the '08 team, but I also think top to bottom, we're not as good. Like Halliburton's good, but not like a complete superstar yet. Like he had a breakout year again, so we'll kind of see where that leads. Drew Holiday's a role player. Derek White's a role player. I hate even mentioning his name at this point. Um, Top to bottom, I feel like the '08 team had superstars. And to not have guys like Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, um, Paul George, like the mid-tier superstars not being on this team is kind of tragic in my opinion.
You don't mention James Harden in that. That's curious why that
Oh,
is.
calm down.
But that also is a good transition. So let's talk about the new replacement for one of those actual superstars, right? Kawhi Leonard is probably a top 15 player in the NBA. So they bring Derek White in. I think another interesting kind of side piece of this conversation is they didn't choose Jaylen Brown. They chose Derek White over Jaylen Brown. So I've seen a lot of stuff coming out. Stephen A obviously has something going on. I don't know what the situation is, but it is interesting to kind of take a step back from and say what is happening here.
Well, Stephen A is going to be forever pissed at Kawhi Leonard for missing games and missing time. That's just the way that's going to go. In regards to the Jaylen Brown situation, I like how there's turmoil between the Celtics guys at this point, how he's tweeting out about his own teammate, um, kind of putting him down. But it makes sense. He was just the finals MVP. You're not going to invite him over your teammate. That doesn't make sense. He has been tweeting about it. I don't like that Derek White's on that team. If you're not going to pick Derek White, it should have been Jaylen Brown, or honestly anybody else at this point. I feel
Jimmy
like you
Butler, I
can,
thought was a great name.
yeah, people act like Jimmy Butler can't play a role, like a role player type. Um, like Derek White is on that team to play a role. I would rather have the superstars that are A, going to bring in money, just from viewership and all that kind of good nonsense. Like nobody wants to see the Olympic Celtics. Nobody wants to see that, especially in the form of Derek White and Drew Holiday. That's just my opinion.
Yep. No, I mean I agree. I totally agree. And even Jason Tatum's comment when they asked him about Jaylen Brown not being there either didn't really seem like Tatum cared that much. Seemed like Tatum was kind of chill with the fact that he wasn't there. And like you said, Jaylen Brown did just win Finals MVP. He showed up to the ESPYS with the trophy and everything. And meanwhile, the other, three out of the other five starters on that team are playing Olympic basketball, getting ready for that. And Jaylen Brown's out on the red carpet holding the trophy. I don't know. It feels like there is a little bit of turmoil. But we've also said that before, and then they won the championship this year. They won the finals this year after we said that. So maybe they're just like siblings that fight.
That's fair. I'd like to know who makes the decisions. To be honest with you, I feel like I don't know, even Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson. There's a lot of other guys you could have put in that spot.
Tobias Harris.
Um, okay, no,
Just trying to find
no,
names that'll really frustrate you.
no. But even Paolo Banchero, like I would like to see a young start. Cooper Flag. Let's talk about Cooper Flag
Let's
for a
talk
second.
about Cooper Flag.
Let's talk about Cooper freaking Flag. This dude is already getting praise at 17 years old in a Olympic scrimmage that they lost by one possession.
Hmm.
If you look at his highlights, I know people keep saying stop showing me the same 7 points on social media, but like if you think about it, the just looking at one play and one play only, the turnaround jumper he had in the post against Drew Holiday is all you need to know about that kid. That's all you need to know. He has pro moves against all pro defenders, everything. So, um, I think Cooper Flag might end up being a top 10 player within the first 2 years he's in the NBA. And I know that's crazy with how much superstar talent we have in the NBA, but he is going to be a beast. And that Duke team, I would not be surprised if they do not lose a game next year.
Yeah, Cooper Flag, just from that scrimmage, looks legit. And like you said, I know people are tired of seeing the same clips on repeat, but if you watch the clips, okay, let's say you don't love the turnaround on Drew Holiday. The next possession, Drew Holiday is pressing him as he's trying to take the ball up the court, and Cooper Flag hits like two hezzies,
Mhm.
like shrugs, just shrugs Drew Holiday off of him by like feet, by physical, like you could see the separation created, and then goes over a screen, gets Anthony Davis on him, I believe, and then one little hezzy and a pull up and a three in Anthony Davis's face. And it got to the point, if you, because they did have the whole like fourth quarter of that scrimmage recorded. If you go back and watch the whole scrimmage, it got to the point where they were face guarding and denying Cooper Flag the ball the
Yes.
entire game in the fourth quarter. We're talking about this Olympic team, the USA men's team, that's probably going to win gold this year. And we're talking about, them in competition compared to the 2008 team. I know people are comparing him to the Dream Team, the Redeem Team, whatever. And this is a 17-year-old kid that they have to face guard and deny the ball because he's tearing them up so bad. That's
Well,
crazy.
well, here's the thing, and I like what you mentioned about like using his body and then like different moves you're mentioning. First of all, he's not even in college yet. So let's think about
Right.
that.
Right.
Never, and we're talking about the pros already. Not even in college yet, talking about the pros. Some college players, most high school players don't know how to use their body, don't have what I like to call pro moves or a deep bag for those that understand that better. But like if you have those moves at 17 years old, what do you like? He's gonna do nothing but learn from Kevin Durant and all those guys in that scrimmage and expand on his game before the college season starts. So if you see him drop 25 plus a night in the college level easily, it's because of what he can already do and what he just learned from those guys.
Yeah. And on top of that, there should be no question as to why he's wearing a Team USA jersey already because he belongs. He
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I wish we would get back to what the Dream Team did and put a young college guy on the roster. I honestly wish they would do that more often. I know Leitner was a bust in the pros, but popular college player made sense. Cooper Flag, popular high schooler going into college, it would make sense.
It would make sense.
So I'd like to know their thoughts on that, but I think that would be good for all levels of the sport.
I agree. Yeah. Well, let's transition out of Olympics. Like we mentioned earlier, we are excited to talk about all the other Olympic events that are going to be happening in Paris in 2024. It's an exciting time. I don't know anybody that doesn't like the Olympics. There's just a lot of fun stuff. It's constant sports. So, being a person that's having a life in the stands, it's a great time to be alive.
For
Well,
sure.
with that,
Um,
Bender, we're going to jump into Player of the Week.
Yeah, so we're actually going to introduce a new segment. We're going to start doing players of the week. So one of us on the show will end up choosing somebody that we think deserves our notice, our attention. And we're actually going to jump to the MLB with this one. It's going to be Trey Turner of the Philadelphia Phillies. From this past Sunday, July 7th to this Thursday, July 11th. These are what stats he had. It was 7 hits and 13 at bats, over 500 batting average, as well as 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, one of them being a grand slam. So I think that's pretty impressive. And on top of that, the more impressive part was that the Phillies swept the Dodgers this week, who are one of the best teams in baseball outside of the Philadelphia Phillies themselves. And the Phillies are going to look to be a threat even after the All-Star break when they get their starting catcher JT Realmuto back. So look out.
Yeah, without having him there and then still being in that kind of position, they've been hot all MLB season so far all year. And what's interesting is that even without following baseball a ton, you always hear Red October, right? As you get later into the baseball season, that's kind of when the Phillies turn it on. For them to be already playing like this and not even coming down the stretch of the season yet, I think you're right. There's probably a lot of room to grow.
And getting healthy at the right time.
Yep, definitely. But with that, that will conclude another episode of Life in the Stands. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. Remember to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and we'll catch you on the next episode.